Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm helping you level up your communication skills. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about how to take a loss like a winner. Loss, winner. Armani, you just made a mistake. You used these two completely opposite words in the same sentence together. Come on, man. In the beginning of the video too, already making mistakes? No. I didn't make a mistake. What I said was very accurate. To illustrate this, I want you to find two winners that you know. Winners in any field. The only catch is that these two winners, they can't know each other. They need to be from two completely different friend circles. Then you go to these two winners. You ask them, what are some advice and tips that you have for me to be a winner like you? Both of these individuals, despite not knowing each other, are going to give almost identical advice. They may use different words, but the advice is almost going to be identical. They're going to be talking about long-term thinking, they're going to be talking about work ethic, and they're going to be talking about perseverance. Perseverance, the ability to move forward despite having setbacks. These winners are bringing up a definition which requires setbacks to satisfy this definition. Do you show perseverance if you're always winning all the time? No, you don't. And winning all the time is not even a concept that exists in the real world. However, winning all the time can be a concept that exists in the real world as long as we understand how to take a loss. Taking a loss is one of the toughest things to do, especially in the field of communication skills, because with communication skills, there's eyeballs on you. People are watching you make mistakes in real time. With their big, googly eyes observing you, it feels like you're being microanalyzed, which makes it even tougher. And you could even argue the toughest field to take a loss. Is it doable? 100%. And in today's episode, I want to tell you a story from a certain segment of my life where in this segment of my life, this loss was something that set me back a lot. And it was highly embarrassing. During the moment of the loss, I could never perceive it as a potential win to be. However, it eventually became a win to be. In 9th grade, I walk into high school and I'm entering the IB program. The IB program is a program where a lot of the smart kids are. Great test takers, great communicators. These people are extremely diligent and they work well in teams, especially in the classroom setting. I don't know how I got accepted to this program, but I was here. And as I started school in the 9th grade, it eventually became evident that I was by far the dumbest kid in class. I was not great in tests, I was not great in schoolwork, and all my deficiencies became highlighted even a level further because all the people around me were so damn smart. 9th grade was extremely difficult for me for that particular reason. And it became even more difficult when the FCAT time came around. FCAT stands for Florida Comprehension Assessment Test, which is a fancy phrase for saying is the standardized test for Florida, which students need to take. It's broken down into a math section and a reading section. The math section was a section that I rarely had a problem with. I loved math. But the reading section was the section that I struggled with. And as 9th grade was wrapping up, I took the FCAT and I bombed the reading section. I got a level 2. Level 1 is the lowest that you can get, but level 2 is awful as well. How awful, Armani? Awful enough that my 10th grade year was going to be altered. Altered how? They placed me in intensive reading class. And this was an embarrassment because to be an IB student was something of prestige. To be in intensive reading was the exact opposite of prestige. In 10th grade, the first day I walked into intensive reading class, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm going to be mean anyways. All these other students, they looked beneath me. They didn't look like they took school seriously. I was an IB student. How did I let myself fall this far from grace? I begrudgingly go into intensive reading and my teacher introduces herself. Her name is Ms. Valencia. My class roughly had 20 kids in it, and I was the only IB kid in that particular class. This was extremely embarrassing, but what made the situation good for me was that Ms. Valencia was an awesome teacher. Our third day in class, she starts to read this book for us called My Bloody Life. And this book is about a gang member from the Latin Kings who's talking about his rise in this gang. And as I'm hearing her read this book, I'm captivated by the story. The story is amazing. I'm glued. And after she's done reading the book, she starts asking us questions. She starts pop quizzing us in real time, and she's asking for volunteers. Once she is asking for volunteers, I look around the class and everyone looks nervous. Everyone's making their body small like, no, don't pick on me. Don't pick on me. I found this surprising. Why did you find it surprising? I found it surprising because the questions that Ms. Valencia was asking was extremely easy. I kept raising my hand and I kept answering the question, and Ms. Valencia kept getting surprised. Like, Armani, you're answering the question again? Come on, class, participate like Armani. Soon, I was starting to build the reputation as the smart kid. Different kids in that class would come up to me and be like, hey, Armani, do you mind helping me with my homework? Hey, Armani, do you mind helping me with my class assignment? Armani, you're really smart. I wonder how you're like in your other classes. Me? Smart? They're like, yeah, you're smart. And eventually, I was serving as a tutor for all these other kids. This was my first experience being the smartest kid in class. The first ever experience. And I felt like a hotshot. It felt like ecstasy. It felt really, really good. As 10th grade was wrapping up, I had to say bye to Ms. Valencia. I had to say bye to all the other students. And I honestly was extremely sad. This loss, which was haunting me in the beginning of the year, was now a win. Why was it a win? Because this gave me confidence. It gave me confidence to now take this newfound intelligence and apply it to other classes. This intensive reading class gave me the vision to be like, hey, dummy, you were the smartest kid in one of your classes. Why can't you be smart in your other classes? Don't let these IB kids intimidate you. See, that was your problem in the 9th grade. You were letting these IB kids intimidate you too much. But now you have proven to yourself that you can be the smartest kid in class. Do it again. Suddenly, this loss magically turned into a win because a silver lining was found. The silver lining is how anyone can learn how to take a loss like a winner. Silver lining, isn't that a movie where Bradley Cooper was in it? Yeah, it was a movie, which is a pretty good movie, but it's also a concept. The concept is that we can find a positive theme from a negative circumstance. Does all negative circumstances have a positive theme? Yes. Sometimes the silver lining is glaring at us. It's something that we can immediately spot. And other times, it requires more effort from our end. In this story, with Miss Valencia, with intensive reading, and with the other classes, it took me months and months and months until it started to click for me. And the lesson fully didn't click until that particular year had ended, and I started the next year where, in terms of 11th grade, I was a lot smarter for taking that loss. So sometimes the silver lining presents itself with radiance, while other times it requires more active approach from the person who took the loss. Man, I gotta do work? Yes, but this is good work. All work is good work, but this work is great work because this work builds creativity and it's a skill set which compounds in the future. Afterwards, once I was able to turn intensive reading from a loss to a win, I was able to mimic this the following year, where when I took the SAT, the first time I took the SAT, I did awful. The second time I took the SAT, I was able to improve my score by 200 points. 200 points, that's a lot in terms of the SAT. Exactly, because immediately when I took that loss in the beginning stages, rather than my mind dwelling on the negatives, it was now primed to look for that win. Where's the win? Where's the win? Where's the win? Yo, remember intensive reading? How you turned that loss into a win? Why can't you do it again for the SAT? And that was something that I was capable of doing. So by putting in the work in terms of finding that silver lining, it primes the brain and the mind to think in a different way for a future loss. And what starts to happen is something that's miraculous. What starts to happen is we start conditioning the mind to no longer see problems, but instead solutions in the making. Not simply losses, but lessons. Watch any comedian, watch any public speaker, watch any individual who's great with their articulation skills, and you'll notice that they are speaking about their losses a lot, but their losses are leading its way to a win. These people get paid to look for the silver lining. Why can't you also look for the silver lining yourself and learn to be a winner after being a momentary loser? In the world of mindset, anything can be conditioned for a win. In this modern world, the world of information age, where more and more people are creating content, monetize your memories. All the regrets, turn it into lessons. Turn those lessons and color it with a story and deliver it to someone else for them to get that aha moment as well. The silver lining never fails to affect us and pull us out from darkness. If you want more practical mindset tips like this into the world of level up mentality, you know what to do next. Check out my book, Level Up Mentality, which discusses concepts such as the silver lining, concepts such as consistency, concepts such as enjoying discipline. Discipline doesn't need to feel like work. Discipline should be a vehicle for joy. Is that even possible? Of course it is. And you will find out how through the book, Level Up Mentality. To grab your copy, check out the link in the description box or the pinned comment right on below. And thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel.